I haven't seen a lot of you for some time. I'd like to thank the BAFA board for giving me this opportunity to talk about women's football, which is something over the last couple of years that I've found that I've got a passion for now, that I didn't have before. There wasn't anything there. It's been an amazing journey. The presentation that I'm about to give today does concentrate very much on the tackle aspect of the game, and I am very much aware of how important flag football is to the development of our sport. But in using the presentation today, it will be very much focused on the tackle aspect of the game, and this is the opportunity I think that we have at the moment to be most visible and promote the game better. I'd like to thank especially the small core of people who've helped out, and our gifted photographers that we've had involved with the programmes and who've been to all of the games and the events that we've had this year. They've really allowed us to be able to tell the story. What I have today is quite brief. We will be doing something more in depth over the next few weeks and months to demonstrate where we've been and where we're going with women's football. And we really are indebted to their skills and their abilities to be able to tell this story. And in particular, I'd like to thank Luke Plastow, who's been with the programme throughout this year, and I've been pestering the last week or so just to process the thousands of images that he had so that I could just take one or two and put in this presentation today. So thank you to Luke. So I guess we start with why women's football. I think it's simple. It's the right thing to do. It shouldn't have, but it came as a bit of a surprise to me when I found out that girls love football too. I spent a couple of hours driving up to do a presentation or an event with the BBC TV in Manchester with a couple of girls in the car. We drove up from London to join the others up there, and they just talked football the whole time. It was just like being in the car with a couple of young men who fell in love with this sport as well. And it's great to see the females love this sport as much as the rest of us. The BAFA board's been very supportive. They do, of course, believe very strongly in the morality of providing equality for everybody to have the opportunity to play the sport. But it's really been great to have their support in doing this and taking this on. I think we've, as a sport, and in Britain, we've always been ethnically diverse and welcoming to all backgrounds. But I do think that in the past we probably have had that kind of stereotype approach. You know, the boys play, the girls cheer. That's been the way it's been in the past. It's great to see that that's now breaking down. And I hope that this new wave here we have of breaking those stereotypes will move on and lead us to look to break down all kinds of prejudice within sport. And I think we can be a leader within that. I think in the end, the one thing that should matter about any individual is the amount that they've got to commit and what they've got to give to our sport. That's all that should matter, really. So it was interesting that we found that we've got this new sport. I really see the change over the last few years, and some of you people who've been around a sport, some of you are maybe as little long in the tooth as I, will have seen this. The change, the culture in the successes of women's sport, the growth of women's sport. If we look back a couple of years and look at the successes we had in the 2012 games over here, I hope that all of you enjoyed that, and you know, it was a proud moment in my life to actually see the games come here to Britain, and to see that we achieved more female medals than we did male medals within the Olympics. If you remember the women's boxing, if any of you watched that, wow, what a great experience was that for me to see women in the ring boxing and looking like they absolutely belonged there, and seeing Nicola Adams and Katie Taylor, an inspirational sportswoman like that, win the first Olympic gold medals for boxing, for a sport that has always traditionally been male preserved. It's just been fantastic. And then we see the growth of the Women's Super League for soccer, and now we see women's rugby and women's cricket, where the top players within that sport are now going professional. The world's changing. The world is really changing, and it's great to see. I really enjoy watching women's sport now when it's on TV, where you can see the top level football, rugby and other activities on TV. Cricket, I went recently to see England women play South Africa in a test match, and it's just fantastic because I think the skill level has grown tremendously in women's football. But what they also bring is there's still within women's football at the top level a kind of honesty, a camaraderie and a sportsmanship that perhaps in some of our men's sport has started to disappear as it's become overly competitive. So it's great to see that, and I really enjoy watching just sport for sport's sake without all the posturing that sometimes goes on around the men's game. Our story starts back in 2012 really with the tackle football. I know we've had flag football around for a long time, and there's been some stalwarts out there working hard, giving women the opportunity to play. I know some things have happened as well in the past, but this new story starts right here. When we had our first ever tournament in May of 2012, we had just 3 teams for universities, with 21 total players turned up and played that first ever event. But it's just fantastic to see that we had something to start with. Later in that year that we ran another tournament, we ran a flag tournament which had 5 teams at it, 32 people, 32 women playing, which was fantastic as well. In the last year, 2013, we really pushed on. We started to work with 5-on-5 tackle football. We thought that would be the way to move on from flag football as well. Develop our flag base, develop our 5-on-5 tackle base as well, in the same way that youth football over here is now developing. It's been a really, really good tool for us to give opportunity to people to play. And also at that time, in the middle of last year, we devised our development plan in how we would take the structure of women's football forward. And we based it around a number of tournaments and competitions that would help to achieve and be work together to develop the game. So really it was about creating the competitions to drive development. We instigated the Opal series, which we started in November of last year, 5-on-5 flag football. Followed after Christmas by the Sapphire series, 5-on-5 tackle football. When we came off of that, we went straight into development days for tackle football, for 11-a-side, working towards our Diamond series, which was our first opportunity to give women a chance to play 11-on-11 football. Massive step up for everybody, even the ones who'd had a lot of experience playing 5-on-5. I'm sure a lot of people will know how to work with youth football. It's a big step going onto the big field and all the changes and tactics and techniques that occur within that. Then 2014 has really exploded with our activities this year. We had our first Sapphire series. We had 6 teams enter in the end. We had 105 players within that. 105 players played within the Sapphire series, women's tackle football. And we also had 3 what you would call associate teams that ended up playing a few friendly games, because we've always tried to be open with our competitions and keep them of a structure that if you're not ready to start the start season, we'll find a way that you can play by the end. So that's been an important aspect for us. It's given us some unique brands creating the Opal, the Sapphire and Diamond series. One of the things that we knew that we wanted to do when we started this was not get caught up with those acronyms that we've had in the past, the alphabet soup of names that we have for agencies and organisations within our sport. Some of them end up in acronyms that are not very flattering, and it was just a key concept for us that let's have a brand that everybody, even within our sport, can understand. So if we say now Opal series, Sapphire series and Diamond series, I think everybody within BAFA is starting to understand that's women's football. It's very clear that that's women's football. So we create our own little brand, our own little corner, our own identity. The Great Britain team that we launched very, very early on was done deliberately to drive development of the sport, because we were aware that that would be our highest profile. If people are interested in our sport, if people are interested in where we're going with this, they want to see it at the top level. Okay? We know that if somebody contacts us to be involved in a TV programme with the BBC, they'll want to see GB Women. You've got GB Women programme? Yeah, we've got a GB Women programme. Okay, let's get them down here and get them involved in question sport. Fantastic. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Okay. So it's been really important for us to help with developing that Great Britain team. It's helped us to become the academy that we would have for developing skills, players, coaches, techniques, etc. It's also given us the opportunity to attract and retain accomplished athletes from other sports. We've been very successful with that. In our small little way, we've been very successful with that. And it also gives us the opportunity to be more than just a novelty, because we can show that we have something high profile and we can go and achieve even on the international stage. And it allows the women that are in the sport to be able to present themselves as not just being part of a novelty. They can be bold, they can be assertive, they can be pioneering, they can be courageous, and they can gain respect for what they do. One of the things we've got to do now is look to establish the game. We've started, we kicked off, we're on that first little boom of growth, and now we've got to make sure that we maintain it. We've got to keep it going. We've got to make sure it stays around for a long time to come. This is a picture from the Diamond Series, the first event that we did for the Diamond Series this year, where we brought all of the players who wanted to be involved, who could be there, brought them together, put them in the red and the blue team, and played our first 11-on-11 game. And we had 55 women there representing 13 different teams. Some of those don't have a women's team in the local area, and they're actually playing with men's teams. And it's great to see that men's teams have been very open and welcoming to the ladies who do want to try and have that opportunity. It's demonstrated to us that we do need to spread more, we do need more opportunities for women to be in sport, and it's also demonstrated the amount of commitment that the ladies have had to put into this sport. Some of them have travelled 250 miles each way to be involved in these events, many times throughout the year. That's a great commitment for them. Looking at our capacity to grow still, I looked at some of the figures from other sports, and the one that really sticks out to me is that the sport that's the most similar to us is rugby union. Rugby has, as you see, as I found the figures, around 500,000 members within this country. We're the largest rugby nation in the world, and despite sometimes we don't always show it on the field, that's something that's we all need to look at ourselves at. Rugby's the largest sport, one of our largest sports, 500,000 members. 15,000 of those are female players. That's a lot of people. I go, wow, 15,000 women playing rugby, members of RFU playing rugby. That's without the RFL as well. So I just extrapolated that and looked at, well, BAFA has around 9,000 members, and if we look at that 3% that rugby can achieve, why can we not achieve that? I think 270 is very, very achievable for us right now, and it would give us a much wider spread, an opportunity for people to play. I think that we've had probably, we probably have around 75 players, women's players who are absolutely committed, and I know will turn out every week if we put events on. But over the last year, we've had over 240 women actually come and try events, be involved in flag events, etc., etc. There's lots of women out there, and I know that we're going to hit a boom right now, as lots of you are involved in recruiting women's teams for yourself, for your own clubs. The future's very bright in that sense. But we're under no illusions. It's going to be very, very tough. The men's game, you all know, you've been around it long enough, you know how tough it is to run a men's team and keep it going year on year out. And women's team's going to be even tougher. It really is. Working with the women's team, because the numbers are going to be smaller, for sure. So it's going to need some unique solutions to the challenges, but I think that we've got the commitment, and I hope that we've got the ideas going forward to do that. Just as a quick overview for you, the global game, what's that look like at the top end now? The best as I can find figures or extrapolate them, you can see there that the football in the States for women has just absolutely boomed. It's gone mad over there, it really has. And there's teams springing up all over the time. I can't catch up with the number of teams they've got over there now. If you look in their major leagues, they've got 70 teams in the number of major leagues that they've already got for women. And these are teams that have 50 players, full management staff, full coaching staff, owners, playing on full-size field, 11 on 11 football, travelling long distances to play games. It's amazing to see that over there. So what exists below it and the amount of flag football they have, I don't know, it will be huge. And there's other nations that play as well. Top in Europe is Germany, 400 members they have playing, which is great. They've had a league running for 20 years, since the early 1990s. Their women's football's been running. So they have a long history of women's football. There's also more teams, more countries playing down there. Mexico is already well established, I found out after searching around. Australia has grown rapidly over the last year. Look out for them to be a force in the next World Championships. Certainly in the second tier teams after USA and Canada. Spain, Italy, Hungary, Norway, the number of nations playing football, women's football now is growing rapidly. It's great to see that. It's great to see the culture and the openness allowing the culture within those nations being open to allowing women to play these kind of sports now. I think in the past that's been a little bit difficult. It's great to see that. The keys to our success that we've had over this last year and over the last year, 18 months, and what will be in the future is these points here really stand out to me. The commitment and goodwill. It's been fantastic to see the commitment that everybody who's come into this has given us. It's been really, really good. Talk to coaches all the time, talk to people in the team. They say, wow, we should start a women's team, and that's really, really great. I really want to work with them and really want to coach and help out. The commitment from players, making this effort to make this happen to start with. As I said, some of them travelling 250 miles each way to be involved with the event. The goodwill from BAFA, from everybody I've spoken to so far to support what we've done has been fantastic, and long may that continue. We have a clear vision for growth. This afternoon when we have a breakout session, I will show you the basics of the development plan that we put in place and how that works. We had a clear idea of where we would go right from the start, that we would build our competitions and base the growth around those, and it would all be channeled. So we are quite controlling in the way that it's happened. We don't want teams to rush off and try and form an 11-a-side women's team because there's nobody for them to play right now. And we don't want to end up with super clubs. You know, Birmingham and London has one huge team with 50 women in, and nobody can compete with them because they want to play with each other just on 11-a-side every week. We've got to control it and give them maximum opportunity for women to play. So clear vision and making sure that we control that growth and it's sustainable and benefits everybody is really important. Flexible formats, we've changed things. You know, we found out that actually we don't have to play NC2A rules, do we? It's about people playing the game. That's the important thing. The only time we have to play NC2A rules or IFAF rules or IFAF flag rules is when we can't play internationals. Up until then, it's about, well, what do we need to do to get as many people playing as possible? So we've been flexible. We actually had one of our diamond days where we didn't have enough players to play 11-a-side both ways. We played, I don't know if it's ever been done before, an asymmetric game where we played one offence and one defence at 9-a-side and the other offence and defence when they went on and played 11-a-side. And it was great to see it worked out really well. Why not? It's about getting people the opportunity to play. So the flexible formats has been really useful for us. The coordination of competitions where each builds into the next so that there's a support development has really been good for us. And the game bigger than us mentality. From everybody we've had in, they've always been, as much as they're competitive they are, the coaches who form the team and really want to be competitive, they have been absolutely supportive of this idea of, okay, we'll do this because it helps to grow the game. And that's what we need to gain, we need to maintain as well. That's really good for us. It's been really good. Of course, we know that women's football must at some time become self-sufficient, and we do have a lot of support from BAFA at the moment. We've needed that. We just cannot cope at the moment. We're trying to bring women for all this distance. Within the women's game at the moment, if you're a woman within the team, it's probably going to cost you an awful lot of money travelling around. So to pay all the things that men would expect to play within their clubs at the moment, we have to find ways around that at the moment. So thank you very much to BAFA for the support they've given us. And I hope that everybody that's helped contribute towards that, all of the members who, maybe £1 of your money last year from every member within BAFA went towards helping develop women's football. thank you very much for that, and I think it's a very noble cause, and we will use it very, very effectively. I'd like to finish up really by just talking a little bit about the GB programme that we've run over the last few weeks, leading up to the event in the last few weeks, because I think it's great news, it's a great story for all of us right now, and I would like everybody to accept that this is you, this is BAFA, this is what we have achieved collectively, because everybody's contributed to it, and we all need to be proud of what we've achieved in doing this. So, doing women's football has for me been one of the most fulfilling things I've done in football. Like some of you, I've been in football since those early days in 1984. Yeah, I am that old. And it's been a fantastic experience. It's rejuvenated my enthusiasm for the sport, and I'm really pleased with that. It's just been a fantastic experience. Working with the girls has been just amazing. They're so enthusiastic about this. They love the sport so much that it's just really, really good to work with them. I'd like to, the achievement obviously comes down to football skills and tactics, but it's also the character of the people involved. And I'd like to just share a few slides from the event that maybe you can get an idea and taste of what it was that we went through, and just share some of the key traits that I think helped us to get there. This is girls lined up, waiting to see Sweden come out. We'd gone on the field first, lined up, ready for the anthem, and the Sweden team was about to come out. And looking at the looks on the faces right there, I wasn't sure until this point whether we were ready for this game. I looked around and I thought, my God, they're going to beat Sweden. They really are. It was fantastic to see. The girls represented our nation as proudly and as courageously as any of the men's teams that I've been involved in. And it was a very, very proud moment to be involved with their successes here. Determination. They absolutely knew they were going to win this game. They really, really did. It was in their mind that they was always going to win this game. They was going to make it. I was always there about, as my coach. I always had my coach's hat on, trying to manage the expectations and say, look, it's about how hard we try. It's about the effort that we put in, and let's judge ourselves by that. But we got on the field, and everybody just wanted to win the game because that's what it's about, isn't it? Everybody knows that. And they had that determination. They knew they were going to do it. Maturity is surprising because this is our first international game. For many of the girls, they'd only played 2 11-a-side games before this, 2 11-a-side training games. But we did have within the squad a number of really, really successful ladies from other sports who played quite high level there. And I would say that the average age of the team was probably 26, 27. So we weren't a young team in that sense. We had some wise heads within it. And that level of experience was really, really powerful in helping us to manage the stress and the strain of an international game. It actually turned out, if you see it there, they said the official figures were 1,200 people. I don't know, I would say it wasn't far off 1,000 though. A lot of people in the stand, a lot of people around the ground, etc. It was a big event, had the music playing, in between every down, the loud music came on, you couldn't communicate with the field, it was run like a proper event. It felt like a championship game. It was a big game. And to be in that environment, that pressure cooker, not just like an international training game, this was like a big game. And we coped with that, I think, better than the other team, and that was one of the things that really got us through on the day. Belief, again, the ladies really thought they could achieve this. I always thought they could. I wasn't sure they would, but they really did come with a commitment to do it. So it was great to have that. And always, obviously, you go out there and on our first possession, we had the ball first. We went down the field and scored. Wow, we can do this. We went on the field with defence. They ran 3 plays. We picked them off and ran the ball back to their 10-yard. We can do this on defence as well. We can win this game. And from there on, there was no looking back. It got tight towards the end of the 4th quarter, but I think everybody knew really we were going to get there in the end. So it was great to see. And passion. How much the ladies really wanted to do this. There was a lot of cheers at the end of the game, and I had to say that wasn't just from us coaches as well. It was some of it from the players. They really wanted this. They wanted it enough. And they've had an amazing experience out of this. And I think that they really represented their country well. I think the passion is still there, and the passion will take us on forward. I'm pleased to say that the BAFA has now learned that there will be a Women's European Championship next year. We're not at liberty to say yet where it will be and when it will be, but it has been decided by BAFA. It will be going ahead, and we hope very much that we'll be able to take a team and qualify and be involved in that first ever Women's European Championship. That'll be a great thing to do. We had from this year, one of the things I discussed with Andy Fuller was how we remember this, because a lot of you have been around football a long time. What mementos do we have from the past? We've been here 30 years. Wow. Football's 30 years old this year. Does that make us feel old? Those of us who've been in it all this time? It's 30 years old this year. What do we have from those early days? It's very difficult to find stuff before the days of the internet, anything tangible about our sport. So we made a decision that we would keep a memento from the game. So we will be retiring a shirt from this game. We'll be retiring a shirt, not the number. So we will replace the shirt. But this shirt was worn by Ruth Matter, our first ever international MVP for women's football. And we will be retiring this. I hope you saw as you came in there were some shirts in some cases. And I hope in years to come, somewhere, we'll be able to show a shirt from the first ever women's international game. I'm very proud of that, very pleased about that. That represents all of us, all of the women who took part. Fantastic experience. This was April this year. The first time we ever got girls together and tried 11-side football. Wow. It was, without being disrespectful, it was herding cats on the first day. It was really tough. And you know, it was in your mind, oh my God, what have we let ourselves in for? We're talking now, we're going to play Finland next week, what have we let ourselves in for? So it's just 5 months. I'm really proud of what everybody's achieved. I've been really, really privileged to be part of this programme. I wouldn't change it for anything. It's been so important to me that this is what we achieved just 2 weeks ago. So I would like to say thank you to all of you for your support. Thank you for your support for the future. Let's make a go of women's football, because now is the right time. It's the right thing to do. Thank you.